Hello, we are back for the first time in a while with another throwback rotation deck showcase. Today we'll be playing some Wrath Blood. To explain why I haven't done this earlier in the expansion, the throwback rotation expansion, is because I've somehow locked myself into a loot sword only GM run. So now that we have Grand Prix, I can actually play other decks, so we're going to be playing some Wrath Blood. Both as a sort of change of scenery from Loot Sword, and I guess also just because it's one of the best decks. In my opinion, it is the single best deck for climbing. If you want to climb on the ladder, I think this is the best deck right now. The top player on the ladder right now is playing Wrath Blood as well, so yeah, it's definitely a very, very strong deck. It has a ton of damage output. It loses fast and wins fast, which makes it it feels very fun to play. Well, I don't know, maybe it's not that fun to play, but it's definitely a good solid deck to play if you just want to win a lot of games and you want to play quickly. The other top deck, Enhanced Portal, is mainly not as quick or as straightforward as this deck, so this one's pretty straightforward. So we're gonna go ahead and play some games and learn how to play the deck, so let's just jump into the games. So we start off here with a game against Blood and we are going second. Generally when you see Blood, it's common to assume that it's going to be Wrath, but I mean it could not be Wrath. So for the Mulligan, I like to keep cards that draw cards. Howling Scream, the Conductor, Bite are the main card draw cards. Also the 3-cost Condemn, whose name I can't remember, Vice Commander or something like that. It's pretty solid as well just for card draw. This deck can have some consistency issues, so keeping card draw is generally quite recommended. Other than that, Vania and Valneric are pretty solid keeps as well for generating 0-cost self-ping tokens that you can use to spam Gyaradev early on. So here my opponent passes, so we're just going to go ahead and use Howling Scream, draw into our deck, ping ourselves. The game plan for Wrath is quite straightforward. Early on we just ping ourselves. Opponent drops the Valneric here and then plays the Wings of Desire, which we still don't, I mean, this still looks like Wrath Blood, right? So we'll go ahead and take the damage here. And thankfully, because they use Wings of Desire on their Valneric, it means that we can trade into it with our own Valneric without spending Wings of Desire here. Now, of course, you could play Howling Scream to clear it as well, but I think Valneric here is just better off for generating the token while we still can. Generally for this deck, rule of thumb, you don't really want to play these tokens. They are much more valuable in the late game, so try to hold on to them whenever you can, no matter how tempting it looks to play it. Unless it's like necessary for you to like not lose the game. Otherwise, I would recommend holding on to the spell. Then my opponent plays Fashionable Fiend as well as their second Valneric, so that's interesting from them, I guess. For now, we're just gonna go ahead. We don't really necessarily have to worry about them evolving next turn yet, so we can take things a bit slower. We could use something like... Well, actually, we don't really have a good way to clear this, so I don't think there's a better play than just playing Howling Scream and Steamrolling Tank here. Once again, we just hold on to the spell. Not like it's gonna do anything if we know how to play it here, right? There, the Valneric kills itself, so that's good for us. And there's the Silvernail Blaster, so this tells us suddenly that this is going to be Endless Blood. We need to watch out for that, and they do manage to empty their hand, so we have to watch out for Paralysis next turn, so that's that. Go ahead and play the Bite here. You can see we are at 5 pings, self-pings here. We're gonna go ahead. Oh, it took me a bit to decide, but go ahead and evolve the Bite here. And then here, although I was talking about how you should save the token, I actually do end up using the token here. The reason why we do that is so that we can make sure we enter Wrath next turn. Because Paralysis is gonna come down, we're gonna take a bunch of damage next turn probably, so we want to make sure Howling Demon is playable next turn if we want to live, so go ahead and make sure we are in Wrath this turn so that we can play Howling Demon. And there's the Paralysis. And the Room Service Devil Demon will also deal a bunch of damage to us. And there's the Silvernail Blaster. Opponent goes ahead and passes here. So we were talking about Howling Demon, but right now there is not really enough of a threat on their board that we need to actually go for Howling Demon here. So we just go ahead and use the Flautist here. The Flautist will let me heal up. I mean, the main point is the healing. The damage, face damage, is not that important because against Endless, as long as we can survive their Paralysis, they run out of gas quite quickly. So there is the Vampire Queen's Castle as well. We're gonna go ahead and set up 2 wards here and then get a bunch of healing. We should be quite safe at this point in time. There's Parasite from them again. So there's their Briar Vampire, which they're gonna use to just draw into their deck, and the Silver Nail as well. We'll clear one of our wards, which is fine. And they go ahead and evolve their Parasite just to clear our Flautist. Once again here, we can go ahead and hold on to the Howling Demon. We definitely want to save it for when they have a more scary board. Especially since Howling Demon only heals 5. Well, maybe only heals 5 is not the correct way to say it, but it doesn't really put out a war or anything. All it does is heal me. So as long as I can clear their board properly, it's actually more reasonable to go for something like what I do here, which is use Vania to get rid of their followers while using Demonic Drummer set wards. Then the castle will give me 1 more ward, which I can also use to hit face for a bit of chip damage. Vania, of course, is a major source of damage with 7 damage base in total for 4 PP. But generally, her main role in this deck is to generate the Gift of Bloodkin. You have a lot of damage in this deck, so we're not really super reliant on Vania. So any damage sources will do. We can go ahead and do this Vania while we have the castle to get value out of the castle with the bat. Then we just go ahead and try to keep ourselves healthy. That is their 3rd Parasite. They have 1 more in their deck, because we saw them add a pair of them into the deck earlier in the game. So probably we can just survive the next Parasite and we should be fine. So we go ahead and just slam down the Howling Demon for a nice bit of healing. And Demonic Drummer as well will give us more wards to make sure we are safe. And then evolving this Demonic Drummer will make this Demonic Drummer a very sturdy ward, and we can do a bunch of face damage along the way, as well as heal ourselves up by a lot. We should be very safe here. I don't really think they have a good way to kill me from this position. There's the Room Service Demon. So I'm going to take 5 damage here, but we have a ton of wards in the way, so we don't really care. Opponent's going to go ahead and evolve the Parasite as well. Clear out wards, that's fine. We just have a nice lethal here anyway because we have Gyaradeath in hand. So yeah, that's it for this game. You can see Wrath's a very, very powerful healing ability in effect here. So let's move on to the next game. So for our next game here, we have a game against Portal, and we're going first. Generally, it's going to be Enhanced Portal. I mean, there is like some other like niche decks like Control and Puppet running around, but mostly it's gonna be Enhanced. Once again, we just mulligan for Valneric, Vania, as well as card draw. In this case, we pick out the Raging Commander here. It can be very tempting to try to keep Scorching Grandy or something for the high roll, but honestly, it's rarely ever worth it. So, got a Demon Maestro, so we're gonna go ahead and just use that to draw. Opponent goes ahead and trade here. We still don't know what it is. It could be Puppet, it could be Enhanced, either way. But because we managed to set up the Conductor there, we can go ahead and get the Flowers invoked here. It's not necessary to go for this every time, but I mean, if you see the chance, you might as well go for it, right? There's the Flowers here. It's also just generally solid to get your pings in play so that you can start getting Wrath active. Opponent goes ahead and plays the what's the right hand? Ironforge right hand is what it's called. Ironforge right hand. So we know this ain't gonna be enhanced. This turn Valneric into Demon Maestro was also an option here, but I kind of want to set up Maestro next turn. So if I play Maestro next turn and they kill it, then I'll ping myself at the start of the turn with 6 PP, and then I can play Raging Commander, Evo, Gyaradeath for a nice, easy activation. So we go ahead and save Demon Maestro here, and we just use 1 Raging Commander to clear and card draw, because I mean we have 2 in hand, we don't necessarily need both. And playing 1 can help me draw Gyaradeath because I didn't see 1 in hand yet. Let me just go ahead and hit face with the Flautist just to, just ping a bit of damage, heal ourselves up. There's the Cutthroat, so I mean it's within expectations, right? And there's Inauspicious Puppet here as well, which is fine. Then we go ahead and trade. So this time, again, as we said earlier, we probably want to set our Maestro. But thankfully our Howling Scream there hit the Cutthroat, pretty lucky. But we're gonna go ahead and use the Maestro here, go ahead and trade into the Cutthroat, and then go ahead and just play the Vulnerate here. I chose to save my Evo point here because games against Enhance might go longer because they have a ton of healing and a shield, so I don't really want to waste Evo point here just on chipping 2 extra damage. And for the same reason, we still keep Wings of Desire, even though we can already activate Gyaradev next turn. It's just to make sure that we have more options. Just the Enhance puppet from them, go ahead and clear out Vulnerate. We're gonna go ahead and heal up as well. And they do spend an Evo point here on the Black Rust Underling. So here of course I could just Raging Commander Evo and then play Gyaradev, and I'll be able to deal like 11 damage to them that way, put them down to 7, which is an option, but they are at rarely 9, and we actually seen them play cards actually. Cards. We see they've also played Craftsman Pride. Usually with Craftsman Pride they tend to pick Forge Weaponry, so we kind of have to play with the expectation they might have Forge Weaponry in hand. So if they pull out something like Black Rust Underling into something else plus Forge Weaponry, we're suddenly in trouble. Because I mean, if just Black Rust Underling Evo Forge Weaponry puts us down to 1, so we're definitely in trouble if we put ourselves low too riskily with a Raging Commander here. So for that reason, I just go for Howling Demon instead, just to make sure I can keep myself healthy so that I don't die to surprise burst damage from their enhancers. And there's the Judith. Judith is definitely a very strong card here. They're going to pick up a damage shield here as well as healing. They're going to go ahead and use Azvaldt as well just to draw it into their deck. And they're going to heal out a bunch, so they are very healthy here, which is not great for us. Pick out the Vayne, so we're just going to go ahead and use that, mainly to pick up the Grave of Bloodkin. So at this point, when you have 2 Gyarados in hand, you can start looking for a double Gyarados lethal. Double Gyarados is like 22 damage, which is like guaranteed OTK, assuming nothing weird happens. We have a bunch of cards like Gift of Bloodkin and Wings of Desire to get rid of stuff like Damage Shield. So really the only threat to a double Gyarados lethal is the Amulet that caps damage at 4. But even then, I mean, we can put them pretty low this turn, so even then we should be able to just kill them through that. So that's the goal. We're going to use Vayne to trip damage as well as pick up Gift of Bloodkin. And then we go ahead and use Vulnerate as well, pick up her Wings of Desire token spell so that we can make sure we get a bunch of chip damage going on next turn. And we just hit them in the face and just pass. So that's the Terra Finis, which is good because it's not a Summon Divine Treasure. Divine Treasure is probably the worst thing to see at this point. There's the Olivia, which is fine. They're gonna go ahead and use it to clear our board. And then there's the Forge Weaponry, so I guess they're trying to survive until next turn by keeping the Sylvia alive. We just have lethal though, so we're going to go ahead and play Gyaradev here. Gyaradev will go ahead and hit the Olivia Sylvia. Yeah, not Gyaradev. So this is generally a pretty important combo to remember. It comes up sometimes, the double Gyaradev lethal. Just have, if you have 2 0-cost pings, if you're using Wings of Desire for a ping, make sure to remember that you need a Forest Bat to go with it from Vayne's call of the Gift of Bloodkin, so that you actually have something to attack using Wings of Desire. So just remember that, and you should be fine. Go ahead and stack 2 of the spells. So evolve both my Gyarados as well as get rid of the Olivia Sylvia, and it's just overkill, so let's move on to the next game. So for our last game here, we have a game against Rune, and we are going first. Could be Spellboost, could be Chess, could be Sephi. All of them are relatively popular, I think. So go anyway. So we keep Vite for the card draw and then just toss the rest. Pick up Vayne, which is nice. Well, for the past 2 games, we've been showcasing how Raph has a ton of staying power as well as a lot of OTK and damage potential in the late game. But what Raph is mainly known for is their early game, is how quickly they can dish out a ton of damage. So I guess I will be remiss in not showing a game showcasing how absurd Raph's early game damage can be. Pick up a Demon Maestro here, so we're gonna go ahead and use that to draw. And then here we hold the Devilish Flautist. No reason to sink it here, we can just hold on to it. That's the Chakram Wizard here. For some reason my opponent lets me keep the Maestro, probably because they are scared of like Flowers or something. But this is actually a mistake from them, so we go ahead and trade the Maestro. And then just play the Scorching Grandiosity here. Currently I am prepared to ping myself one time next turn at the start of turn here. So I can actually go for a Gift of Bloodkin Flautist into Gyaradeath for a turn 5 Gyaradeath, so there's the reason why we just pass here. No reason to play any cards. There's the Angel's Blessing from our opponent and the Crushing Rain as well, so probably pretty bad hand for them. But we're definitely popping off here, so we go ahead and play the Gyaradeath. And then Gift of Bloodkin and then Flautist just activate it so we can output a ton of damage. Gyaradeath usually gets lethal when he comes out, and there's the Flowers as well, so kind of a bit ridiculous for it. Gyaradeath usually kills the opponent when he comes out, so it's easy to remember, but it's easy to forget, but he himself is just an 8-8 follower, which even if it doesn't straight kill the opponent, is still probably a nightmare for your opponent to deal with. And there's the Uranus, gonna banish my Flowers, trying to deny me the healing, which honestly is fine, we have a ton of healing in hand anyway. At this point, we've got Violent Demon, we're just gonna go ahead and play it. There is the option of playing Fight, but Fight wouldn't be able to clear the Chakram Wizard, so we go ahead and play Howling Demon, and we can go ahead and pressure more damage to their face anyway with this Howling Demon Evo. It's important to remember Howling Demon can evolve even if you're not in Wrath. You can just use him like normally. So there's Angel's Blessing from them. If they don't play another if they don't heal, they're just dead with a second Howling Demon, so pretty interesting spot for us, I guess. And this will heal as well. It's the Chakram Wizard, so they're gonna go ahead and clear our followers. And there's the Simiel as well. And a second Simiel. So a bit scary, I guess. There's the Raining Blades as well. They do have two Simiels that are very healthy here, but it's important to remember here, this looks quite bad considering we are quite low, but I mean that's most of that damage they just spent here, so if we can get past, even if we can't like fully clear this board here, we can probably still survive, so we'll go ahead and trade off and just play the Vampire Queen's Castle just for healing. Probably likely I survive here. They would have to have all 3 Simiels plus some extra damage in order to kill me from here. There's Meltina. I realized I said wanted to show off their early game burst potential, but we are still in the late game anyway. But I mean, you saw what happened, right? Like, this deck has a lot of early game potential. There's the Flautist as well. And then we go ahead and heal, set up the fight. Just to draw more cards. As you can see, our hands are looking great, so just use Vite to draw, and then we can get some healing, and hopefully we don't die this turn. Again, they've spent like most of their damage already, so we should be fine in theory. It's the Magic Missile. And they have nothing, so we're just gonna go ahead and finish them off this turn. So yeah, pretty I guess it is pretty lucky that they didn't have Simiel, but that's it for this game, I guess. So that's all the games I have for you today with Wrathblood. As you can see, it's a very, very strong deck. It has a ton of things. It has a ton of healing. It has a ton of damage. I mean, there's a reason why it's the top meta deck right now. Well, one of the two at least. Definitely, once again, if you're trying to just win games and just play them quickly and cleanly, this is my #1 recommendation. This deck has a ridiculous amount of power to it. And yeah, so yeah, that's it for today. If you learn how to play this deck from this video, I guess that's good. I'm not sure if you're gonna even bother playing right now, but I guess if you want to, and if you want to play one of the strongest decks, this is the one for you. Yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.